Bismillah. Inshallah. No. Yeah. Yeah, Alhamdulillah, it worked. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. We have been studying the section Qamar, and we studied up to the verse 15, and we were talking about the Noah's story, what happened to the people of the Noah who rejected them, and a few accepted his message and benefited from it. And some calamities happened in this world, as the Qur'an literally mentions about it. And those people who followed the message, they were saved. This very famous, the Ark of Noah. So the Noah's Ark saved them from the flood that destroyed the rejectors. And the verse 15 says, we left it as a sign who then is willing to take it to the heart. We left it as a sign. Now we are not studying the story of Noah. So if we studied the story of Noah now, we would go into details. And every single symbol, how it refers to our life. But here we have to restrain ourselves within the limitations of the content of this section, Qamar. Usually we mentioned at the very beginning of our discussion on the section of Qamar that this section has lots of warnings, although some people understand these warnings as threat, anger, wrath of God. So, but always the Quran keeps saying nadhr. Nadhr means warning. Warning if they don't, the Quran or the speech of God warns them if they don't follow the prophetic message, rebel them, reject them, and the punishment will befall on the rejectors. we have to pay attention to this point. Not everyone, not those people who are not aware of the message, not those people who just don't take part, maybe so, for so many reasons, they may not understand the message. They may be indifferent towards the message because they just follow the whole community for any reasons. So what we will understand from the story is that only the rejectors are warned. And the consequence of rejection, their rejection will be experienced in their life in, if you like, spiritual sense, psychological sense, or physical sense. Physical sense is mentioned because the Quran uses the physical examples in order to symbolize the meanings, psychological, spiritual side of the matter. Because if the Quran did not mention the physical examples, not every people can understand the symbolic language, concrete language, giving the example of it. Looking for a word. Oh, okay, didn't come to my mind. Okay, I couldn't remember the right word to use here. It must be something concrete, but anybody thinks about it, they understand that this is not really physical things happening, but they symbolize something. Now we read on the 15 verse 15, we left it as a sign. Who then is willing to take it to heart? Now, rejection, what happens? People are destroyed. It means they have lost the meaning of their life, purpose of their lives, and something remained from it. What happens in our life if we do not do right thing? Although we may claim that it is not really right, but our subconscious, our conscious human nature knows that it doesn't fit human feelings. Our nature knows, recognizes that it doesn't fit my human nature. I understand this. But what I do, because of so many other reasons, I condition myself and say that, yeah, I would like to have it. I would like it to be true, but no way that it is true. So unfortunately, I have to suffer for it. For example, we are created with the sense of memory. It remains our memory. If something happens today, it doesn't mean that. If I have a bad experience, it doesn't mean that I am going to forget it immediately. It happens, time passes, it is over. No, it remains in me as if gnosis, is it the right word? Erodes our feelings more and more, more and more. But we human beings, if we decide not to accept the truth, we become obstinate. We cannot, it is not easy for an especially proud people, proud of their own stand. Those people, for those people, those proud people, proud of their own selves, their own decisions, their own conclusions. For them, it is extremely difficult to acknowledge the truth and submit it. If they don't, they cannot really go back easily. It is very hard for them to confess that they were right, they were wrong. That is how we can harm ourselves. We have the option, but we have the other option as well, not to do that. So it remains in us. And of course, the Quran says, then who is then willing to take it to heart? It means reconsider it and say that, look, I have been doing this. I have been saying that there is no purpose in this life. It is an accident. Everything is an accident or happened to be like this, meaningless. There is no purpose, and we are going to fall into non-existence. Why should I bother? But I know that it makes my life turn into meaninglessness. And meaninglessness is the worst thing to have. If you have a meaning, if you have a purpose, you understand that. A very simple example, if someone, for example, is asked to lift a heavy thing, let's say 50 times a day, if it seems to be meaningless for this person, as he does it, if he has to do it, he will feel pain upon pain. But if the doctor tells him, oh, your muscles are really getting very loose and it will end up with a problem, health problem. So you have to do some exercises. You have to go to a gym and work out, do something there. And you go there and the technician there tells you, you have to lift this heavy stuff, but you can lift, but it's heavy somehow. And you have to do some sort of exercises so that your muscle will get strengthened. Then you know that there is a purpose in your action. Now you do the same action, but you don't feel disappointed. You don't feel miserable. You feel great that you are doing something for your health. So not the work, not the problems of this world that we are struggling with, but the meaninglessness hurts us. That's why, for example, when we are given some troublesome things in our life, so that we apparently seem to suffer from it, we don't like it, and we don't understand why it is happening to me, etc. That meaninglessness kills us. That hurts us. But if something happens that, for example, I wanted to have something and I couldn't have it, if I understand that, oh, it was good not to understand it, not to get it, I say, great, I'm happy. because I didn't get it, because not getting it has a meaning for me. But if I see that if I experience that I want something and not getting it is a loss for me, it is the same event. It is very hard to carry. So that is what the Quran says. At the end of every calamity mentioned, or disaster, or let's use a free language, punishment, physical punishment mentioned in the Quran, destroyed it in this way or another way. Now, in the case of Noah, we destroyed them in a flood. In another, we will in other cases mentioned with different names of people. We don't know who they are, doesn't matter really who they are, but we will understand why the Quran gives different examples in the as a story of a prophet. We will mention a little bit later. So when they given this disaster, physically, what we have to do that? Oh, God destroyed these people by wind or earthquake or volcano or flood. Many other examples are given. And we say, what is the point in it? For me, we have to take it. For me, that if I deny the truth, from which aspect I denied the truth, I will receive another kind of appropriate to that aspect, a pain in me, in my psychological feelings, in my feelings, and emotionally, intellectually, rationally, I will be I will be disturbed. We have to understand that the prophetic examples mentioned in the Quran in different ways. We mentioned at the beginning of, some times ago, not long ago though, maybe in 1 month or 2 months ago, we mentioned that every prophet is mentioned in the Quran as an example of one aspect of human feelings, human problems. One aspect of it. Every prophet represents one main and major problems of human beings. And also when the Quran mentions about the punishment to those people who reject the prophets, this punishment is the compensation of these people's rejection. So we have to interpret it. It doesn't mean we have to definitely deny that this did not happen, all the things mentioned in the Quran. To these people, I don't know. How can I say it? It can be because the Creator is really physically demonstrating this kind of disasters in one way or another in this world. We experience flood, we experience earthquake, we experience volcano, we experience, I don't know, tsunami or other calamities, whatever they call the names of the calamities. We experience strong winds, storms, etc. We all experience them. Physically, they are happening. Of course, there is reason in this type of creation. It is human habit that we take everything for granted if the routine is not broken. That's how it happens. If I come home and the dinner is ready for 10 years, and after 10 years, one day something happens and dinner is not ready, I get disappointed. I got shocked. And why? Why did it happen? That is striking. And we understand that it doesn't, when the dinner is not ready, on one day after 10 years of experience of having it ready, prepared for you, we understand that it doesn't have to happen. There is no reason why the dinner should be ready. That's why farmers get good harvest 10 years, and or the economy goes very well, 10, 20 years, and then suddenly what we see, disaster, farming is really very bad, almost no harvest, or recession in the economy. That's how it happens. That is what we need. This is also for the purpose of reminding that we should not take the routine, the order of the universe for granted. That's full of wisdom, because the purpose of this life on earth is not to get your dinner ready every day until you die. The purpose of having a ready dinner is to appreciate it. In order to appreciate it, you have to understand, we have to understand that it is deliberately prepared for us to just make a favor to us by a one who is preparing the dinner. It doesn't have to happen. Nothing in the world has to happen. Nothing. There is no reason why the sun should exist, why the earth should revolve. But it is created revolving. And why the earth should revolve in a way that I should not be disturbed. Why not? We don't wonder if it is taken for granted. But when some days sun doesn't really send it is light for us, we say, oh, what happened? When the earth starts shaking, disturbing us, oh, what happened? What is the matter with this? In the Quran said, Mala. As the earth starts shaking, Quran says, the human being will say, Mala, what's happening to this? It should be, it has been very smoothly working, turning, and we were enjoying the season. Why it started shaking now? It doesn't have to, because nothing in the world necessitates that the order should come into existence and act in a very smooth way. Only the organizer of the order decides it should work in this way and sometimes in that way. But thank God that this disorder happens very rare, and local. People hear it. That's why the Quran says, وَلَقَدْ تَرَكْنَاهَا آيَةً. We left all these events in the memory of people, in the history records of the people, that this kind of things are happening, and we also personally we also personally remember if I have taken a negative attitude to the creation, then I will feel the hurt in my feelings. Because any rejection of the purpose of creation established by a conscious being deliberately for a purpose to prepare human beings to get to know who their creator is, how they should really present their response to this creator, so that they will fulfill their purpose of existence. If they don't do that, they never enjoy their life, because a conscious creator, when a conscious creator is denied, what happens? The opposite of conscious creation, accidental happening. Immediately meaninglessness falls into our life. And the disasters are not the problem. The problems of life are not really the real matter. If we think that it is an accidental happening, it is a meaningless happening, just we say, I was lucky, I was unlucky. No, everything is the result of conscious choice. No one is lucky, no one is unlucky, but everybody is given the opportunity, mostly in the positive way, to receive the grace to the one who gives it. Sometimes the reminder comes, nadir comes, warning comes, that our expectations don't exist, is not created. Our expectations are not created. That is the moment we have to shake. We are shaken, and we have to say, what is happening? Oh, the order seems to be not changing, but really something happening again within the order, not as I expected to happen. So it means there is a purpose in the creation who is arranging everything in order to break human accustomed way of life, habitual life, taking for granted blessings of the world. And when we are shaken, we say, oh, what is the point? God is reminding me is the second step. The first step is, the things do not have to happen as I am accustomed with. Go back to the example of 10 years. For 10 years, I have received the ready dinner. It doesn't have to happen. There must be, it is prepared consciously, and as I like it, to my taste, somebody is really doing a favor for me. One day, it doesn't happen. I say, it doesn't have to happen, but today it didn't happen. So this means, and they call it natural laws don't change. Yeah, but they don't act by themselves always in our favor. It means we like most of it, we don't like some of it. So it means we are given the opportunity to reconsider it. This is what the Qur'an says. I hope I didn't disturb it. Okay. We left it as a sign. What the disasters, calamities. So, and the Quran says, take it to heart, think about it, that the things do not happen by themselves. What the prophets bring to us, hey, everything is favorable for you. Be grateful, acknowledge that it is prepared for you by a conscious being. Acknowledge it. Be grateful. Don't say that it is happening for nothing. It is impossible to explain that the universe must happen or come into existence for nothing. So we will apply this understanding to the other narrations of other people as they happened to their, as the Quran mentions that they happened in their lives. Different perspective. Some people suffer from hunger. Some people suffer from illness. Some people suffer from psychological depressions, etc. Some people suffer from poverty. Some people suffer from drought, not having the water, not having something, food, etc. Lack of nourishment, lack of food. Okay, doesn't matter. Something, although rare, need to go not as the way we expect. We call it the things are going wrong. Oh, there are something in chat. Let me see. Monica wrote it. Monica writes, but yeah, tangible, not tangible, really. Tangible is a good word. I was looking for another word, something like, oh, come on, did it come? Okay. Conscious choice, who is choosing, God or us? Can you choose the order of the universe? That is what Monica wrote in her short comment, but a long comment. Let's say that longer compared to the other one. So it happens that we who make the wrong choices are sincerely convinced that we make right choices. I don't think sincerely, but let me see what you will say. The consequences of our thoughts, because we discussed earlier on, we have been discussing this kind of subjects for years, actually. So, not that sincerely convinced, no, they made themselves be convinced. They conditioned themselves. They say, I'm not going to accept anything other than what this universe is all. I'm not going to submit myself to a super being which I don't experience in this world. I'm not going to accept any superior position who has power on me and asks me to do this or that, and you be grateful to me. I want to be a free man. I'm working. I make my own life, and I am happy with myself. I am proud of my own work, etc., etc. These are all arrogance. So I really question the word sincerely convinced. No, they make themselves be convinced with their biases. That is what we have to be careful about, bias. For example, if I say, I am a Muslim or whatever, follower of a religion, so I am fine. This is my culture. That is my narrative. So that is my family heritage or legacy. I'm following it. And even it may happen right, it is worthless. It must be a choice. This taken for granted attitude in denial, in confirming the truth. Doesn't matter. For example, somebody said, I love simple examples. 2 plus 2 makes 5. That's what my father, my family, my nation says. Okay. Taken for granted. The other one says 2 plus 2 makes 4. That's what my father, my family, my nation says. What is the difference? One of them is, if you like, accidentally right. But is he aware of it? No. Has he thought about it? No. Has he really considered it and reached that conclusion? No. That's why belief is personal conviction and confirmation. That's why when we say they are biased, it doesn't mean that the believers, those people who claim to believe in God, may not be biased at all. No, maybe. All kinds of biased attitude has no value. That's what we have to understand. Okay, you don't mention this, you say sincerely. No. Especially those people who make the wrong choice cannot be sincere. Sincerity requires full submission to the truth with no reservation. That is why it is somehow questionable. The consequences of our thoughts and actions don't always manifest as hurt immediately. Oh, and Monica, I think you are trying to really, really think deeply, but we have been discussing these problems for years. If you, I don't want to mention, but just give a clue to you. This series of studies started in NYU University, University of New York, in Islamic Center. Nowadays, unfortunately, we turned, not unfortunately, it is a wrong expression here I use as well. But for the sake of language, I'm using, we don't want it, but God says, no, you need to experience this. Now we cannot really get together physically. It has a 12-year history. We have been studying the Quran for 12 years. We mentioned all these a lot. They are all on YouTube. Anyways, what I am saying, you are welcome to express your ideas, but if I say no, it doesn't mean that I always reject other people's ideas, but we have studied these kind of subjects for years, and we have been really hammering on them, concentrating on them a lot. So the consequences of our thoughts and actions do not always manifest as hurt immediately. No, human beings always experience whatever they do within their feelings, but they may not accept it explicitly. They may try to express it. For example, the typical example is this. When most of the religions say there is a hereafter, especially monotheistic religions, depending on, those religions base their root on a revelation. They accept the hereafter. They give the news of hereafter. We hear that. And when religion says after death there is life, they say, this is wishful thinking or hope. Wishful thinking. Because you want it. Yes, that's how I am. I want an eternal life. I don't want. That's my feelings. I didn't get it from here and there. There are 6 billion, or some people say even more people in the world. Every human being has the same feeling. eternal happiness. But some people say, this is the idea of religion. I'm not going to accept it because religion is just, I don't know what this religious institutions exploit, cause problems, etc., etc., as if secular institutions don't cause problems. Every country has their enormous munitions and weapons to kill others, and it is not a problem. But if two religious groups has a conflict, especially in the history happened, sometimes, occasionally, it hurts people's feelings. But when the kings kill each other, declare war, kill millions of people, even in this century, millions of people are killed in the Middle East wars, in Iraq, Afghanistan, millions of people. No one says that this army, these secular institutions, causing problems. Let's dissolve them. But when it comes to religion, you know, 400 years ago, two religious groups fought and 1,000 people or 10,000 people died. So the religion is causing problem. Excuse. Yes, it is not right that the religion should cause a problem, but people may not get educated. Nowadays, for example, Christendom doesn't have real Christianity. Muslims don't have any real, not really, in its original pristine form, Islamic teaching. No, stories mostly, what are they told? Or technical things, the grammatic structure of the Qur'an, etc. They are good, but not the purpose. Ultimate purpose is to assimilate the meaning within your own feelings and see the compatibility between your spirit, between your ruh, soul, and what the message says. The message says that there is an eternal happiness prepared for those who are honest with themselves. It means to not contradict their human nature as they are created. Eternal happiness. The human feelings say, yes, I want it. But those people say, no, it is a wishful thinking, but you want it. No one says that, no, I don't want eternal happiness. Happiness. Not long life on the earth. No, eternal happiness. Happy forever. All the stories, you know, that children's stories, especially, something happens and the people get married, they say what they end up, they lived happily forever. Yeah, why? People love it. Human nature wants it. Why do you deny? Because you are created with this feeling. Don't contradict. So anyways, the hurt is there, but people may not expose it. Inside, I'm going to die. Well, I enjoyed my day, my life today, but gone. But gone. Can I get it back? No, I only have the picture of it. Picture of it. That's it. So what remains to us? The pain of losing it. If we don't attribute it to a creator who is infinite, absolute, and it is a promise for me. What this happiness is a promise that the creator of this universe will create happiness if you are grateful to it, not ungrateful. You are grateful to it, he will give it to you. If you are ungrateful, you don't, because human nature tells us this. If you help somebody, if he is grateful to you, you would love to have help again. But if you prepare a food for a person who just throws it in the trash can, What do you do? Will you give him another food again? That is human nature. This is how we are created. So my creator says, I'm going to treat you like this. You can use this sense in order to understand the creator of this feeling in you that he is going to treat you like this. That needs really study. So we have been studying those people who have been following this class. They are very familiar with the subject. So a small child who puts her finger in the fire, she knows immediately. She doesn't repeat. Yep. A grown man accustomed to his choices stays in his choices, which hurt him slowly, yet he stays in the impression he is right. He interprets it that he is right, because anything wrong attitude, by definition, must contradict human nature. God guarantees that what he is teaching in the revelation is definitely confirmed with human soul. The example of it, the very famous example, God created the spirits, souls, and asked them, am I not your Lord? They say, of course you are. It means the scripture tells us you are created to confirm the message from me exactly according to the requirements of your creation. So use your creation properly without distorting them, deviating them, or denying them. You will comfortably confirm my message, because there is no message that I send you which doesn't make sense to you. You cannot confirm it. It is within your own manufacturer's settings. Anyways, the machine is here, and a manual for the machine is prepared by the engineer of the machine. Are you expecting any contradiction? No. But without using the manufacturer's handbook, can you use the machine rightly? No, especially if it is a very complicated machine like human beings. You need manufacturer's handbook to work with, but there will be no contradiction by definition. If there is, if there is a contradiction in it, it means this manufacturer's handbook is not prepared by the maker of the engineer of the machine. It is either distorted, corrupted, or completely fake. That is how we can confirm the revelation. Okay. All right. How will he know to change his mind? Consult yourself. Yeah. Look at this verse here. Who then is willing to take it to heart? It means we are advised, invited to consult to our heart, to our feelings, not to our prejudices, to our feelings, in order to confirm or see the truthfulness of the prophetic messages. That's what we have to take it to heart, means really consult yourself. What the prophets say, you have one absolute creator. The universe is given existence by him. Go and think. Does it not make sense? Free yourself from all considerations. prejudices, believer or non-believer. Of course, this universe, with its perfect arrangements, continuously changing. Every change is meaningful. Every change is another demonstration of the qualities of its creator in a different way. How can you say that this perfect order happened to come into existence accidentally? How can you say that even let's say a stove in your house, simple, very simple technology compared to iPhone or other technologies, especially military technologies, very simple. It happened accidentally, earthquakes, winds, or disasters, and then the matter itself, as a result of 10 billion years of all these chaotic, uncontrolled events happening haphazardly, randomly, and this machine came. Who can buy into it? We have to really be honest to ourselves. So he can change his mind, but honesty is needed. As you said at the beginning, sincerity is needed. It means, sincerity means being consistent with yourself. How do all of us recognize what is right? Yeah, I think we have covered this. In us, our feelings are witnesses. That is why the Quran says, take it to your heart. Consult your own nature, human nature. That's how you are created. Okay. Monica says, conscious choice. Who is choosing? God, let me mention that. I'm not offended. Thank you, Monica. Thank you. But maybe I am the interruption to your routine. No. Look, we benefited from your, although my only sensitivity, you may feel offended that whatever you say, I reject. Of course, I mean, I understand you are new in this class. I mean, comparatively new. For years and years of education, we settled down in ourselves that this compatibility between human nature and revelation is always became clear to us. Just not condition yourself. That's so simple. So you are not interrupting. Please go ahead. Please go ahead so that when you write, we understand what is really to be discussed, what the points that we have to really mention here. So please go ahead, write everything with one condition. If I say no, no offense. Think about it. It doesn't mean they take my word, never. Think about it. Think about it. Inshallah. Beautiful teaching is thank you. Okay, thank you very much. All right, let's go further because the rest will based on this today's introductory explanations. And how severe is the suffering which I inflict when my warnings are disregarded? Definitely, even as small as finest needle you put in your body, inject in your body, it hurts automatically. So you see the suffering which I inflict, as God says, which God inflicts on us, when we go against our nature. It means prophetic message is just a guidance to discover our nature. Okay. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِّرٍ. We have made easy. We have made it easy to learn lessons from the Quran. Who then is willing to take it to heart? Again, because this word is muttakir. I mean, it comes from dhikr, actually, because of the Arabic. It doesn't mean muttakir, tekara. It comes from dhakara. So is that is tezekara, tezkara is tezkara stuff. If ta'ale is tekara. So it becomes ittekara. Muttakir is the active participle. So mutakir to Arabic language turns into muttakir to read it easily. Pronunciation is difficult. That is technical side that we don't go into. So it means to take to heart. Remembers, but remembers within his own heart. So who then is willing to take to heart? It means, again, go back and consult your own soul without conditioning. So the Quran is easy. Not that the Arabic structure is, it doesn't mean here. Quran's lessons are easy to understand. The simple examples are given, but in the structure of the language, so fine tunings are integrated into the language, and it refers so fine things, depending on how much you want to specialize in the teachings of the Quran, you can benefit deeper meaning. But it doesn't mean that those people who don't study Arabic grammar of the Quranic language, they wouldn't get anything. Everybody will get something. What is, now I use Monica's language now. What is needed here? Sincerity. It means consistency within yourself, not conditioning yourself. Just listen to the Quran and see, yeah, if I go against my nature, if I go against the order of the universe is what? The will of its creator. So if I go against the will, which is order of the universe, will of the creator, what I do? I get hurt. I get hurt. If you hit your head against the wall, you get hurt. If you cut your finger, you get hurt. Yes, it happens that you cut your finger, it bleeds and it hurts and it causes trouble for you, and you will be sorry because you went or you took an option contradicts your nature. Likewise, your feelings, the message comes and exactly teaches you how to utilize your feelings. If you don't listen to it or reject it, what happens? If you don't listen to it, you cannot benefit from your feelings. If you reject it, you get hurt. Because you choose the way or choose an understanding which makes your life meaningless. Meaningless, as we started the discussion with this point, makes our life horrible, unbearable. Whatever happens, we may cheat ourselves. Something good happens. We say, it is good, whatever it is, I was lucky. But if you don't see the purpose behind it, it becomes a meaningless luck. What happens? You say, okay, I was lucky, but at the end I will die and lose everything. What happened? Not only the painful experiences, even the good experiences, if we don't have meaning behind them, they turn into a pain of losing. Now we experience daily that I lost it yesterday, but today is gone. Even tomorrow, let's say you are going to have a wonderful thing tomorrow, but your memory tells you, yes, you are going to have it. After tomorrow, it will be gone. Without experiencing the happiness because of the wrong attitude, it happened accidentally, not purposefully, by a conscious being, because you interpret the universe as an accidental nature, as a result of consequence of numerous random happenings, we became a human being. I mean, what a wonderful idea. So as a result of consequence, I am intelligent person, thinking, questioning, liking, disliking, happiness or miserable life, accidentally happening as an accidental happenings of the atoms. My feelings are not atom. Don't be stupid. These people are really ridiculous. So that is their problem. We are not going to buy into their ideas at all. It is impossible to accept. So let's come to our point. We have to take it to heart. Qur'an is easy. Why? It's when you are hungry, when you eat, it goes smoothly, nice food. And if you take poison, it hurts you or kills you, because the body is not created to digest poison. Poison destroys the body. So you have to avoid it. That is what my reality is all about. I have to be consistent within my reality. Right. So I understand that. I hope we have to see the consistency in our nature, but not our false claims, either in belief or unbelief. For example, I didn't think about it, just followed the tradition. But really, people say, yeah, my tradition says there is one God who created the universe. Really, it makes sense. Yeah, that is a good and a simple but good reason. It makes sense. Now, that is what most of the people confirm it. But do they get really enjoyment of their belief? Depends how much they considered about it, reflected on it. The more you reflect on it, the more benefit, pleasure you ripe from it, you get from it, and benefit from it. Okay. Look, another example, but I know the time is up, but read this one. The people of Ad also rejected the truth. The same thing as narrated to, same kind, but the type of punishment, type of pain is different. So different rejections for the different reasons, for rejecting the prophetic message, ends up with different pain in our mind, maybe in our physical body as well. Then, so certain people who are called Ad in the narrations of the Quran, who they are, I don't care. A group of people represents one side of my life. So then how severe was the suffering which I inflicted when my warnings were disregarded? It means from many different experiences, we will see that if we contradict the message, from which aspect we contradicted the message, from that aspect, we will experience the punishment here. And the Quran says physically it happened to them. Yeah, at the end, everybody will die anyways. So physically, everybody will experience. We also experience nowadays, people die, maybe, God forbid, we may die as well as a result of certain uh, calamities or created activities that we don't like. Uh, it is possible to happen, but we have to say that this is an example. We studied this. This is an example for me that the universe doesn't have to be as it is now. It is under the control of a conscious being. Yeah. So we sent upon them the hurricane of continuous distraction on an unfortunate day, and the plucking people away as if they were trunks of uprooted palm trees. I mean, we understand that uprooted palm trees is a figurative telling something to us now. Maybe it happened, it might have happened. Physically, it is happening. Sometimes the hurricane happens, and you see that the houses are just lifted and drifted away by water, flood, uprooted. It is happening, yeah, correct. But this is something that their life becomes completely meaningless. Meaningless. No pleasure at all. They try to get it, but within themselves they are hurt. Okay, I think we can interpret it when these events are studied independently. But in this context, God is telling telling us that, look, there may be different ways of pains if you reject the message, my message. You will never enjoy your life, but different times. And how severe is the suffering which I inflict when my warnings are disregarded? Again, repeating the same. Yeah. And we have made it easy to learn lessons from the Qur'an. Who then is willing to take it to heart? It means continuously repeating it. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Take it to your heart. Whatever happens, good or bad, consider it seriously. So we will continue this, but I hope the foundations of our approach to these kind of stories, we have to understand it, inshallah. So people of Thamud also rejected the warnings. They said, what, a man? Oh, we can study this separately from 20, so, sorry, that from the verse 24, because it is very common nowadays for us, and it is really seriously, we have to think about it, reflect on it. Starting from 24, next week, inshallah, we will continue. I'm sorry, we started a bit late, and we ended up symbolically an uprooted palm tree is without grounding or roots tied to the ground, as in being blown by the wind without any aim. It means, Suhail, continue, it means if you reject the message of the prophets or the God's message, what you become, as you said, you lose your grounding in your existence. Your being becomes meaningless. Yeah, you are blown by the wind without any aim. Accidents, what they say. Universe is the result of accidents. There is only one option, either conscious choice or result of accidents. Which one does it make sense? The Quran says, if you say accident, it means you have no root in your existence. But if you attribute your existence to a creator, you have a root, which is absolute power. So you say, I belong to him. He will take care of me. He gave me a free existence. Why should he take it away from me? Because it is no problem for him whatsoever. It is an absolute being. Without me asking him, he created me and he gave me this consciousness, I'm using it. So good. Being blown around in the wind is symbolic of my perception of chaos, whereas rooted to the ground is on account of a conscious choice. It is my perception, or it is my real natural perception, and it confirms the message, and I don't reject the message of God saying, introducing himself to me, I am an absolute being who has an absolute knowledge, absolute power, absolute mercy, absolute arrangement, etc., etc. So we say, yeah, it must be so. Otherwise, I cannot explain my being as a human being. Yes, thank you. Inshallah, we will exchange like this views. Thank you. So, Monica, please, whatever comes to your mind, write or speak. So we will make it clear and reflect on it again and again. It doesn't mean that you have to take my word. Reflect on it. We have to, again, back and forth, exchange our views, inshallah. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة. Inshallah, I'll see you next Monday for this class, but Wednesday and Saturdays as well. For our classes, you know the time, Saturday at 11 o'clock, Wednesday at 5 o'clock, Monday, you know, at 7 o'clock. Inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum.